1. The ego. Definition: in psychology, especially Freudian and Jungian theory, the ego is the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious. It is responsible for reality testing, sense of identity, and self-control. Key characteristics. The ego is the I, or the sense of self you are most aware of. It helps you navigate the external world, making decisions based on logic, social norms, and learned behavior. It acts as a mediator between inner desires, from the id, and societal expectations, superego. In spiritual traditions, like Buddhism or non-duality, the ego is often seen as the false self, a mental construct or illusion that creates separation from others and reality. It thrives on identification: I am this, I want that, they did this to me. 2. The shadow self. Definition: a concept developed by Carl Jung, the shadow is the unconscious part of the psyche that contains repressed, denied, or unacknowledged aspects of ourselves. Key characteristics. Includes both negative traits, rage, jealousy, selfishness, and positive traits, creativity, power, sexuality, that were shamed or suppressed. The shadow often emerges through projection. We see in others what we refuse to see in ourselves. It holds emotional intensity and can sabotage our lives when ignored. Integration. Shadow work involves facing, accepting, and integrating these hidden aspects into conscious awareness. It's not about eliminating the shadow, but bringing it to light, leading to a fuller, more authentic self. 3. The dual mind. Definition: the dual mind refers to the tendency of the human mind to divide reality into opposites: good vs. bad, self versus other, right versus wrong. It's central to many spiritual and philosophical teachings. Key characteristics. Operates through binary thinking and judgment. Is rooted in ego consciousness and contributes to suffering by reinforcing separation. Can manifest in inner conflict as different parts of the self compete for dominance, e.g., I should be nice versus I'm so angry. In spiritual perspectives, the goal is often to transcend duality, to experience non-dual awareness, where everything is unified and interconnected. Non-dual states are described in mysticism, meditation, and psychedelics, where the dual mind drops away and one experiences presence, oneness, or flow. Concept definition: function, shadow, element, spiritual view. Ego, the constructed sense of self, navigates the world and maintains identity, can repress the shadow, illusory self. Shadow self, the unconscious, hidden parts of the psyche, holds denied aspects, both dark and golden, is part of their unconscious to be integrated for wholeness. Dual mind, the binary thinking pattern of the mind, creates contrast, identity, judgment, fuels ego and projection to be transcended into non-duality. Would you like me to relate this to real-life examples or guide you through a shadow work exercise or ego observation practice? 1. Real-life examples of ego, shadow, and dual mind. Ego example. You're at work and your coworker gets praised by your boss. You feel irritated, not because they didn't deserve it, but because you weren't acknowledged. The ego feels threatened because your identity is wrapped in being competent or the best. It says, I need to be recognized to feel worthy. Shadow example. You often think of yourself as calm and kind, but you explode at your partner one night over something small. Later, you feel confused and ashamed. The repressed anger is part of your shadow. It's been denied for so long it leaked out unconsciously. Your identity, ego, rejected the idea that you could be mean or selfish, so you buried it. Dual mind example. You label yourself a good person and someone else as toxic, but in time, you realize you also manipulate or judge, just in different ways. The dual mind splits reality into opposites, but this limits your growth. Seeing shades of gray allows for compassion and deeper truth. 2. Simple shadow work, plus ego observation practice. Shadow work exercise. What triggers you? Pick a trigger, someone or something, that provokes a strong emotional reaction. Ask yourself, what do I dislike most about this person's situation? What do I believe about people who act like this? Is there any part of me that could be like that, even a little? Reflect. The traits you judge might live in your shadow. They were likely suppressed early in life. Don't judge yourself, just observe with curiosity. Example, you're triggered by people who brag. Ask, have I ever wanted to boast but held back? Do I secretly wish I had more confidence? This invites integration of hidden desires and strengths. Ego observation practice. Name the voice. When you feel reactive, defensive, angry, proud, ashamed, pause. Say silently, this is the ego speaking. Notice the thoughts it's generating. They don't respect me. I'm better than this. They should know I'm right. Don't argue with it, just observe. Like watching clouds pass. This creates space between you and your ego voice. Over time, this leads to a less reactive and more peaceful presence. How ego, shadow, and dual mind show up in relationships. 1. Ego in relationships. The ego craves validation, control, and safety. In relationships, it often says, I need to be right. If you loved me, you act how I expect. I can't show you my flaws. Common ego dynamics. Power struggles. Needing to win arguments. Taking things personally. Over-identifying with roles, e.g., I'm the fixer, I'm the victim. Healing move, learn to say, I feel hurt, instead of you hurt me. That shifts from ego to vulnerability. 2. Shadow in relationships. Your partner will inevitably mirror your shadow aspects, those you've denied or repressed. Examples. You dislike their clinginess, but secretly fear abandonment. You're angry at their selfishness, but you suppress your own needs to be nice. You criticize them for being controlling, but you fear not having control yourself. Shadow triggers feel disproportionate. You're not just upset, they're activating something deeper. The reaction is intense because it touches a buried wound or belief. Healing move, instead of why are they like this, ask what part of me is reacting to this. 3. Dual mind in relationships. Duality shows up as, you're the problem, I'm the victim. I'm good, you're bad. This is all or nothing. This black and white thinking causes misunderstanding, blame loops, idealizing or demonizing your partner. Healing move, practice non-dual awareness. Both people have valid experiences. You can be hurt and still care. Your partner can love you and mess up. Relationship growth tools. A mirror work, shadow integration. When triggered, journal. What exactly bothered me? What story am I telling myself about them? Could this reflect a disowned part of me? Be ego-soothing, self-compassion. When you're reactive or defensive, pause, breathe, place your hand on your chest. Whisper, I'm safe, I don't have to fight or fix right now. Ego calms when it feels safe and seen. See non-dual inquiry. Try asking, can we both be right from our perspectives? What if this is not either or, but both and? This opens space for understanding instead of division. Attachment styles, the blueprint for love. Developed in early childhood, attachment styles are patterns of emotional bonding. They guide how we give and receive love, handle conflict, respond to closeness or distance. 1. Secure attachment. Comfortable with intimacy and autonomy. Can express needs clearly. Trusts others without losing self. Inner child likely had consistent, nurturing caregivers who made them feel seen and safe. 2. Anxious attachment. Craves closeness, fears abandonment. Overthinks, seeks reassurance, may seem clingy. Often feels not enough. Inner child, felt emotionally inconsistent care, sometimes love, sometimes withdrawal. They learn to stay hypervigilant to keep love. 3. Avoidant attachment. Values independence, withdraws under pressure. Struggles to express emotions. Fears being overwhelmed or engulfed. Inner child, had to self-soothe or grow up too fast. Emotional needs were minimized or ignored, so closeness feels unsafe. 4. Disorganized attachment. Push-pull dynamic, wants love but fears it. Often trauma-based, with chaotic or abusive early relationships. Deep longing mixed with fear and mistrust. Inner child experienced fear from those meant to protect. Love was confusing or dangerous. Inner child work in relationships. The inner child is the emotional part of us formed in early life. Common inner child wounds in relationships. I have to earn love. If I show my needs, I'll be rejected. People I love leave me. Love means losing myself. Healing together, what this looks like. 1. Spotting the inner child. When you or your partner are triggered, ask, how old does this part of me feel right now? You might feel small, scared, or irrational. That's your inner child talking. 2. Soothing the inner child. Instead of reacting outward, try. I see you, little one, you're safe now. Physically comfort yourself, hug a pillow, place your hand over your heart, breathe. When both partners do this work, you move from wounding each other to healing together. 3. Attachment plus inner child reflection prompts. You can journal or talk with your partner. When I feel distant, ignored, my younger self believes. When I feel overwhelmed, clingy, I need. My fear of being abandoned comes from. When you do, it reminds me of how my parent